Good evening. This is Mark Canby here at Lamplighter Ministries with Kim Winey, our guild photographer, and it's a pleasure to introduce all of the followers of the Lamplighter Guild. Introduce you to Kim Winey, and I'm looking forward to tonight. Kim, nice welcome here. Welcome to the Lamplighter Guild evening on our webinar.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
So I'll just start with saying that for the first year, second year, third year, maybe the first 3 years, photography was an elective at the Guild, and it was an elective because, I don't know, I guess to be honest, I didn't think that it deserved master status as a complete course, because our kids were really coming for dramatic arts and I threw visual arts in there, and obviously photography couldn't be at the same status as visual arts. So and then each year, I think the first year you were very good about not trying to overstate your reason for photography being a core part of the curriculum. And then the second year you voiced it a little bit more strongly. And then the third year, I think you almost demanded. It was you were like, this needs to be a core part of the curriculum. And boy, I think you wrote me a couple-page letter as to why it needed to be. And I think what happened is that my eyes were opened, and I saw your work, and I saw what the kids were doing, and I realized that this was indeed master level work, not only on your part, but it's a needed craft in the kingdom of God. And so I just want to introduce it as far as that I have been won over by your work. And if I had a young 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old, or whoever really is looking for how to hone that craft of photography, I think that I know of no other teacher that I want them to be under than yourself.
Well, thank you.
Let's talk about the background. How did you get into photography? Why did you get into photography? And tell me what it's all about.
Sure. About 15, 16 years ago, I got a book called How to Photograph Your Baby by Nick Kelch when my 17-year-old was just a baby. And the very first photo shoot I did of him, it was amazing, and I was instantly sparked, and I just thought, okay, God, this is it. This is what you want me to do. It was that fast. What's that?
How old were you?
How old was I? Well, it was 1999 that Connor was born, so it was about 2000. I don't know. 26 is when I had Connor, so probably about 27.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first year or so, I practiced on Connor and friends and family, and then after that, it just kind of trickled out by word of mouth. The business is still primarily a word of mouth business, which I love because it keeps it more community based. My clients are now my friends and clients, and very intimate, and allows me to get involved with people's lives and vice versa. So yeah, just a lot of trial and error, and more error and more error and more trial and practice. So
yeah. You didn't go to school for photography?
No, I took one weekend course at the University of Scranton. It didn't click. The way the teacher taught was not the way I learned best. So then I did have one very influential friend who kind of pushed me into the technical side of things. And so I kind of take my experience from that teacher and my friend and try to implement that into my teaching so that I'm not just teaching from like a book style, but I'm teaching in a manner that I feel connects with people in a unique way by using, for example, easy to remember phrases that if you just repeat these phrases as you're trying to work out your settings on your camera, it's going to make sense without having to be burdened down by all of the technical things.
Okay, so can someone like me, if I took your class at the Guild, can I learn how to really shoot photographs?
Yes, I've been begging you to take my class.
Okay, I might do it this year.
I believe that, yes, anybody could take this class and come away with some good, solid knowledge on how to work your camera's manual settings,
Okay,
as well as creative, composition, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so technology's changed so much. Do I really need a camera with all of the dials on the front of it, or can I just use my iPhone?
I mean, you could use your iPhone, to be frank. If you shoot in ideal lighting situations 100% of the time, yes, absolutely, you can use anything. But the real world has situations in which lighting is insufficient, and therefore having the knowledge to shoot in manual mode and control ISO, shutter speed, and aperture is very important in producing properly exposed photos.
Okay. So if someone wanted to come to the Guild, let's say that they really wanted to be a photographer, what type of, I mean, is there really enough opportunities out there to support yourself to be a photographer? So you're a photographer, you do weddings, you do families, portraitures, and stuff like that. But what could someone do with the photography background experience?
Right now, the market is extremely saturated, meaning photographers are a dime a dozen. It's a very easy business to step into because digital cameras are everywhere. But having a sustainable business over years, especially one that supports your family or contributes at a high level financially, it is important to, I would actually recommend getting a mentor or coming to the Guild and getting started there versus going to college for it. Getting business classes in conjunction with a mentor is actually the perfect blend because having a business mind is extremely important as a small business owner. But then something I've just learned in the last year or so is it's important to find your niche or your niche, however you want to say that, but figure out what you specialize in. Because, as you mentioned in the past, I did weddings and families and senior girls and children, and it was diverse. And while that seems like a good idea, that didn't set me apart from all of the other photographers in my area. And so within the last year, I've really honed in on the children's market, which will allow me to practice more on children and become a better photographer for children, but then also hopefully, you know, when people say, hey, do you know of a children's photographer? Because I only specialize in children's photography, hopefully my name will rise to the top of conversations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I do recommend finding your specialty as soon as you can and then just buckling down on it and then making it better and better and better every year. Finding ways to stand out from the crowd is extremely important since it's such a saturated market.
Do you advise also getting experience with knowing how to use the social networking market? Is that what you do as well?
Yeah, but it depends on what your market is. So, for example, if I want to specialize in couples over the age of 50, it's not going to do me any good to go to social media, Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot, because that's not where my demographic is. So it really depends on what type of photography you want to do. For me specifically, children, my demographic is women, you know, late 20s to 40s, and they are on Facebook. So Facebook is a great way for me to utilize social media. Okay,
so let's just pretend, it's not really pretend, I really want to know this, but so let's say that I'm just using my iPhone and it's a sunny day.
Okay.
I want to shoot something up in the woods, it's a sunny day. Do I need to be away from the sun at my back? Where am I taking the picture?
Well, using the iPhone makes that a complicated answer, but I love to shoot towards the sun because that is the romantic side of me, but I would not be shooting with intention at high noon. If I'm intentionally taking pictures, I schedule my clients during a specific pocket of time called golden hour, which is about an hour, hour and a half before sunset, or it could also be sunrise-ish afterwards. But I love shooting towards the sun, shooting in a backlit situation. But it depends on your subject matter.
So you're not a traditional type of photographer.
No, not at all. Not at all. If you were to look at my portfolio, you'd be hard pressed to find many pictures of people looking at the camera and smiling. There are smiling pictures, but they're usually a genuine laugh. There are pictures of people looking at the camera, but it's, I want authenticity. So most of my shoots are designed to give my clients something to do, and then I photograph it with beautiful lighting and a beautiful scenario, but it is different.
So it's not staged as much as it's genuine. There's some genuine action going on.
Yes and no. It's I'm going to say 99% staged, but it's staged to look like it's not staged.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, when I meant staged, I meant like, if you were to go to Walmart and you're getting your picture taken with the background.
No background in my world. The woods, or right now I'm working on a garden scene. I do in-home sessions. I just did Colin Smith's family. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. That must have been fun.
It was in their house. It was amazing, amazing, amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
I would share pictures, but they haven't seen them yet, so I can't do that.
Where'd you get that idea?
Okay, so what I did with them, it's called Real Life, Your Life, and it's an in-home session where I go in and it's basically creating a time capsule with photographs. So I came up with the idea. It's kind of a long story, I'll be brief. I hit a point in my career where I was comparing myself to other photographers, and that's never a good thing. Mm-hmm. And Facebook doesn't help because of the news feed. It just pumps other photographers' pictures into your news feeds if you're friends with them. So I decided to kind of put myself into a bubble for several months, and I didn't look at other photographers' websites. I didn't allow their work to come into my news feed unless they were close friends. Mm-hmm. And I really tried to just look inward and listen to God's promptings to figure out where my heart was. And I figured if I could align the things that were most precious to me in my life with my photography, that would be the perfect blend. Mm-hmm. And so, my family and my real life is definitely where my heart is, and so that's kind of where those in-home sessions were born from, is just like realizing I get joy when I'm home with Connor and Fred. So yeah.
Oh wow, you just said it all. You get joy in your work, so and there's so much that you just said just now. I mean, this fits who you are as a person. It fits your desires, your love, your joys, all of those things. You said something about God. What does God have to do with your photography? I'm saying it facetiously.
No, I know. So much. First of all, I think it's so great to be in the creative field. Mm-hmm. God, first verse of the Bible, God is a creative being, and so for us to emulate that and we get to be creative, it's very, very exciting. On a personal level, like I mentioned, because it's a very community-based business, my clients, they see my work, yes, but they also follow me on Facebook where I share some personal things as well. I share songs occasionally. I share, Easter messages, whatever the case is, so they know I'm a Christian. Mm-hmm. And that opens the door, because I am open about that opens the door for them to have conversations mm-hmm. about, what's going on in their life, relating it to experiences I've had in my past or struggles I've shared on social media. And so it really opens the door, because I'm so personal with my clients, to have conversations about Christ and how he influences my life. So.
Okay, this is going to be a tough one. You ready? Okay. So let's say that you had you're here at the Guild, and you can teach anything you want. Photography, you can teach. You could take my place. You could do anything you want. Okay. Let's say that you have just 3 hours to do whatever you want to do. What is it that you want to convey to these students?
Can I give 3 answers?
Sure. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I think I would still choose to teach photography. I'm very passionate about it, and I have, curriculum planned, so that's a plus. I would probably, and you're gonna stick this to me later, but I would probably want to talk about gardening.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I really, really love it. I mentioned a shoot I'm working on. It's called Le Potager, which is French for a kitchen garden. And we've been working like crazy renovating our backyard to create a scene for this photo shoot, and it's just garden. All edible though. And the third thing I would maybe want to, I don't know if teach is the right word, but have a dialogue about and conversation is probably parenting. I love being a parent, talking to other people about parenting, sharing stories and experiences, reading about parenting. I just love it. Those are probably my top 3.
So I would anticipate that when you're here, those 3 things may actually come up.
Okay.
I think that we'll be involved in all 3 of those things. And
All right.
we're getting ready to put a garden in here. In fact, the future guild is to have an extension of organic gardening here. So that'll be kind of cool. I can't wait. In fact, the following year, 2017, we're hoping to have a family conference where that will be one of the focuses. Will be organic gardening, essential oils, and all that stuff.
Okay.
So if we, you're going to love this because we're going to be at Letchworth State Park. I can't believe I'm letting this out of the bag. It's supposed to be a surprise, but nonetheless, we're going to be at Letchworth the first 2 days. You know what it's like up there. You're going to see the falls and the flowers and the woods. So that's going to be. Will you have time those first Monday and Tuesday to do some actual photo shoots up there, or will you?
I mean, the students won't be advanced quite enough to do anything major, but I usually have a pocket of time on Monday morning where I run around like crazy and get the photos that we need to represent, our experience. So.
And throughout the week, you're going to have. Wait till you see all the different places you're going to have. I didn't take you up into the woods where the ponds are, did I?
Was that the place where we almost fell off the cliff in your truck?
Yes.
Almost got there. We got partway there.
Was it icy?
It was not really icy. It was really wet and muddy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. We won't
that
do that
was
again.
the time I was like, hey, do you want Connor to get out of the truck and help guide you? Because I wanted my kid out of the truck. I thought we were going over the cliff. You're like, no, I got this.
It wasn't that far. It was only like 300 feet. It's not that far to fall.
No big deal. He put on his seatbelts. It's fine.
You're gonna love it there because there's a creek down below. When the lighting in the morning hits that creek and it hits the rocks and the waters, it is stunning down there.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I'm coming with you. We're gonna be doing some photo shooting down there. I can't wait to do this. So, tell me what will the students expect? What if there are students listening to this now, all ages? Some that are like, do I want to do photography? Yeah, I really want to do photography. You got both extremes. Some people that just want to learn just a little bit. Some people want to do it for a business. What should they expect, and how can they be prepared?
Okay. I would say the first thing you should know is every year, especially last year, our group gets so close and knit together. It is a great and very comfortable place to learn because of the camaraderie and the support that we all give each other. So even if you don't have a lot of experience and maybe you're a little bit insecure about your skill level, it doesn't matter. Come, because we're going to make you feel welcome and it'll be fine. As far as what I'll teach, I always start with Manual Settings Simplified. It's now called Manual Settings Super Simplified, which is the class where I teach you how to use your camera in manual mode. It's a technical class, but like I mentioned, I kind of break it down and give very easy to remember phrases and things like that. So we'll get that one out of the way pretty quickly because you'll need those skills as we move forward. The second class is called Taking It to the Next Level. And in that class, I talk about all kinds of creative elements that I use to put into my photos to take them to the next level and make them a little bit more memorable. So that could be color stories, leading lines, all kinds of lighting, composition, you name it. And at the end of the class, I will bring up several of my photos and we will analyze them together. So my students will say, oh, I see a color story, oh, I see, you know, repetitive elements, whatever it is. Then, prior to the guild, the students email me up to a dozen photos, and I pull up their photos for everyone to see, and they do self-critiques. So they look at photos they've taken before, and they can break it down now and say, I asked 2 questions. What did you do well? What could you do better in the future with this type of image? And so they break it down and say, oh, you know, it's a little, you know, the composition is off or whatever, and then they'll say what they did well in that photo. So it's a really great class moving forward because they're going to take these tools and think them through as they're creating photographs in the future. Lightroom is the program that I use for editing. I don't do a formal class because we just don't have a ton of time, but as I get photos through the early part of the week, I import them into Lightroom and I will edit in front of the class and I'll project it up on the screen and so people can be watching and I'll talk them through it. So it's sort of a class, but it's very fast and you're kind of learning as I'm going along. We also usually take some time to do some actual shooting where I will take a person and I will pretend it's a regular photo shoot, but I'll have a stream of consciousness where I say, okay, I would like for you to stand over here in front of this doorway, but I'll tell the students why I chose that doorway and what I'm seeing with the framing and what I'm seeing with the direction of the light. And then I ask them or tell them, you know, what I want as far as expressions and body language and things like that. And again, I'm talking through why I'm saying what I'm saying and what my eye is seeing. So it's a very detailed explanation of what's going on in my mind during a photo shoot. And then I have the students take over. And this is all very quick. This isn't like hours and hours of this, but I'll have the students give each other direction. And this is a huge stretching experience for them because it's nerve-wracking to do it in front of the teacher, let alone the entire class. But it's where I get the biggest response that the students have tremendous growth because they'll start, and if they make a mistake, I'll say, okay, hold up, let's take that back and talk about what you could have said differently. Mm-hmm. So it's a very hands-on opportunity. We usually walk around. When we were at Mohunk, we would go down to like the barn where all the antiques are and things like that. So again, lots and lots of hands-on. If I have time, I may work in a little bit of a class called styled shoots, where a styled shoot is where I pick a theme and I coordinate every single detail, including clothing for my kids, flowers, if I have food, and I create a scene in which the kids step in as more or less a character within the scene. And it is not something that is widespread yet, which means it's an opportunity for these students to learn how to do it and then go home and implement it and stand out from the crowd because it's very unique and very special. So I'm hoping to do that.
Wow. You know, I was thinking, what would I ask you about photography? I don't know much about photography, but this has been one of the most informative interviews I've had yet with a guild teacher. I have really enjoyed everything. I mean, this has not just been about photography. This has been about, I don't know, this has been, I feel like if I was a student listening to this, you've welcomed me, and there's so much more to learn than just photography. You know, the whole aspect of why you do what you do, the joy that you get out of it, and even as I'm looking at you on the screen right now, I'm enjoying, and I'm sure you did this purposefully, but I'm enjoying the three colors of the cups and the position of the faucet and the three vases of flowers behind you and the way the cup. Did you purposely plan exactly what I'm supposed to be looking at in this?
Yeah, usually this has dishes behind me. And so we did the dishes, and I cut fresh lilacs. I mean, I always have fresh herbs and flowers in the house, so that's not unusual, but yeah.
Well, the only problem is that you're in the center, so if you were to do a photograph, you wouldn't be in the center, would you?
I do some center crops, but also like the rule of thirds, so, you know, could be.
Go back over. I want to see the flowers.
There you go. So interestingly, though, my brain works more almost rule of fourths, which is not normal. But when I do, if you look at my composition, oftentimes I'm not right on the rule of thirds. I'm like slightly outside.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nobody's called me out on it yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, they're going to learn so much. I mean, okay. So let me just tell the people that are listening. One of the reasons that your class is different than any other class, and let me tell them why. You are the only class that I know of that, and all the other classes, they had great times. You know, script writing, voice acting, sound design, theater, acting. They all have great times. But you guys, you tended to end up being this really close-knit. There was almost a jealousy that we couldn't be a part of what you guys had. And you were having so much fun. You guys were your own entity, and it was really great to watch. And now, do the students stay in contact with you after this is over with?
Yeah, a couple of them definitely have. I have an internship program that is open to the public, but most of them have come from the guild or from guild siblings.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, some of them are planned for the future to come. So, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the internship program.
Okay, so our house that we own has 2 floors, and we live in the bottom floor, and then the top floor is an apartment with its own entrance. So it's completely separate, and women come, young ladies come, and they stay upstairs. And it's called a live internship, and what that means is they come and they live with us, and they don't have to pay me for furthering their education. They work for it. And we both kind of feel like we've won the lottery, not that I play. But I'm like so thankful because I have free help and work, and they're so grateful because they have a free education.
Wow.
So it's just a dream, and every time someone comes, I'm like, ah, and then they leave, and I'm like, no, come back, come back. So yeah.
On a personal level, I want to know, did you think up the internship program before the guild?
No, so Maggie Boy was from the very first guild, and I'll throw this pointer out to any guilders who are coming. She stood out to me because she connected one-on-one the very first year. She brought her iPad and said, can you critique my photos? Which was a very vulnerable thing to do, but I will never forget that moment. Like, she wanted to learn. So we stayed in contact, and then one time she kind of threw out the idea, but she was younger, and I definitely would prefer, you know, the girls to be 18 or above. I have broken the rule once since then. In any case.
For the internship.
For the internship, yes. And she said later, after she had turned 18, she's like, I would like to come and follow you around, and I will bake pies for you every day and every morning for breakfast, chocolate pies. And I was like, you're in! And so it was to Maggie Boyd, and at that point the apartment was vacant, and so now we won't rent our apartment to anybody long term because I want the apartment available for my live interns.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been great. I love it.
So the internship program that you're doing is a result of the guild.
Yeah,
definitely. Which you owe me big time then. Okay, we'll talk about it.
I'll give you a pie next time I see you.
Kim, this has been an outstanding interview. I mean, this is one of the best ever. Outstanding. There's so much. I can't imagine anyone listening to this that would not want to be a part of your class, and it is special.
Awesome. Thanks. Well, we love to have them.
Last year, you had a closing at the closing ceremony of the guild. Explain what you did, and I just remember I was in tears.
So what we do is I take pictures, especially at the beginning of the week. I go through all the classes. I usually will take a shadow. That's something else that the students should know. Every minute I'm there, except when I'm sleeping pretty much, I'm willing to have students with me, asking me questions, help carrying bags, walking into the different classrooms, holding lights and things. So we go through and we capture the guild in photographs, and then the students also are doing this on their own and then in class time. And they edit their photos, I edit mine, we pick the very best of the best, and then we put it together in a slideshow, and we play music during the presentation, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. And it's always down to the wire. Joel and I are always in the back, like, doing last-minute prep work and praying that the speakers before us stretch out their presentation, because we're meeting, like, literally up until the last second for both of us. So, and he was talking last year, and I'm going, stretch it. He just starts talking longer and longer. But it works out somehow, and so yeah, that's the presentation at the end.
This year, Joel won't be with us. I think his wife is having a baby at that time.
I know this.
And we are having Bob Garner from Disney World. He'll be here. He's going to be teaching filmmaking. We have Patrick Powell be teaching theater, stage acting, voice acting. He does St. John and the Exile. He's an amazing actor. He actually looks like Moses already. John Fornoff will be here teaching script writing. We have Paul McCusker from Adventures in Odyssey will be here teaching script writing, storytelling. We have Lisa Mystic coming back for, yeah, I know, I can't wait, for oil painting, Kim Winey in photography, Colin Smith in biblical theology. I'll be teaching some of the biblical theology. And we have John Dorick teaching music and sound design, and I think that covers it. I don't think I'm missing anybody right now. We may have a few surprise guest speakers. Oh, we have Sarah Groves coming, 8 Dove Award winner. She'll be with us. She's going to be teaching both some music as well as biblical lifestyle.
Okay.
Can't wait for her to be here. She's an amazing lady. Loves the Lord, and then we also have Jeff Taylor is going to be here with his music, and we're going to have Buddy Green, who plays the harmonica. When you hear his harmonica, it sounds like a full orchestra.
Wow.
He played at Carnegie Hall and got a standing ovation. So this is an amazing lineup. This is one of the best lineups we've ever had. So really excited. And you are going to have access to 3 19th century churches here in this town. And you know what ours looks like. You know, that's just beautiful inside. The other 2 are maybe even more. Just they're filled with unique things, and so you're going to be like in photography paradise while you're here. And the streams, and there's so much. I can't wait. This is going to be an exceptional guild. The Lord is really putting it all together. And ladies and gentlemen, Kim Winey. I know if you were all here, we'd be giving you a standing ovation ourselves, Kim. We're looking forward to having you at the Guild. Once again, go to lamplighterguild.com if you're interested in the Guild. And those that will be here June 26th through July 1st, you'll be able to take Kim's class in photography or any other class that you desire. Kim, I'm thankful that you're one of our master teachers. I'm more thankful that you're my friend.
Thanks, Mark. It's been a pleasure.
Good night.
Good night.